The vibrant clock tower in the heart of Times Square suddenly went dark, its massive digital screens glitching into a chaotic, pulsating floral pattern, marking the beginning of the crisis. A massive, glowing, bioluminescent flower, terrifyingly beautiful and the size of a small car, had bloomed in the center of the intersection, and its presence was accompanied by a thick, sweet, disorienting scent that made people forget who they were. Alarms blared across Manhattan as police officers and civilians alike stumbled, their eyes glazing over, muttering nonsensical phrases as they lost their sense of self and purpose. Spider Man, alerted by a catastrophic loss of essential services and an overwhelming, confusing shriek from his spider sense, immediately swung toward the epicenter. Okay, that's not good. That flower looks like something that escaped a nightmare and took a wrong turn at Central Park, he muttered, dropping onto the roof of a stalled bus. He quickly realized the scent wasn't a powerful perfume. It was a potent, amnesiac pollen, causing mass memory loss and rendering people docile and suggestible, effectively hypnotizing the civilian populace. He saw the danger immediately. The beautiful flower, which he dubbed the toxic blossom, was a weapon, and its influence was spreading rapidly, turning one of the busiest intersections on Earth into a field of confused, wandering victims. Landing near the base of the colossal bloom, he found his ally, Bulbasaur, already on the scene, circling the flower with profound distress. Bulbasaur, a creature of pure life energy, was profoundly affected, his bulb pulsing weakly and his vine whips flailing hesitantly. Bulbasaur, the Pokemon cried out, indicating the flower was not only toxic but actively pulling the energy from the ground, causing the healthy park roots nearby to wither. He too felt the disorienting effects of the pollen, but his natural grass type resilience provided a slight immunity, keeping him grounded, though deeply confused. As Spider Man surveyed the scene, his spider sense, usually a clear warning, became a barrage of confusing echoes. He saw his hand, then suddenly saw a baseball glove. He heard the scream of a civilian, then thought he heard the distant voice of Uncle Ben. The pollen was beginning to work on him. Whoa, dizzy, he slurred, rubbing his temples. I'm Spider Man. Wait, am I Spider Man? Did I remember to pay rent? Spider Man was losing his memory, fighting off waves of disorientation and forgetting his own identity and mission, relying only on muscle memory to keep moving. He saw Bulbasaur, and for a terrifying second, he thought the little creature was his old elementary school science partner. The toxic blossom's influence had created the perfect chaos for its true master. From the shadow of a nearby billboard, stepping carefully over the confused civilians, emerged Dr. Quentin Bloom, a disgruntled former botanist fired from Oscorp for his unethical obsession with weaponizing flora. He was draped in a protective environmental suit and wielded a large, ornate staff tipped with a shimmering amber crystal. Bloom surveyed the chaos with cruel satisfaction. Magnifique! The pollen is achieving total psychological override. And look, Spider Man, you're just a confused child again. Soon everyone will forget that petty squabbles and submit to the order I provide, Bloom gloated, his voice amplified by his suit. He plunged the staff into the ground, causing the toxic blossom to pulse with increased intensity, releasing a fresh, sickening wave of amnesiac pollen. Bloom's plan was clear: weaponize the pollen to seize control of the city by erasing the identities and free will of its defenders. Spider Man, unable to recall his mission or his powers, was reduced to erratic, instinctual actions. He pointed a finger at the flower. Bad flower, bad science partner, he declared, launching a sticky web, but his aim was off, and the web stuck harmlessly to a street sign. Bulbasaur, though confused, understood the core goal: protect his friend and destroy the bad flower. Bulbasaur, seeing his friend struggle and realizing the immediate danger to the city, recognized that this was now entirely his fight. He let out a determined Bulbasaur and began channeling his energy. The only way to save Spider Man and the city was to neutralize the toxic blossom's core. He knew the pollen was too potent to simply blow away, and his basic grass attacks would only make the unstable flower angrier. He had to hit it with a massive, targeted burst of pure energy. He focused his mind, the confusion from the pollen fighting against his natural resilience. He extended a vine whip, gently wrapping it around Spider Man's wrist, not to restrain him, but to keep him connected and grounded, a constant, familiar touch against the waves of amnesia. Pika, soar, he chirped urgently, tapping the flower with his other vine whip to locate its central vulnerability. Bud quickly identified a glowing, deep purple node at the flower's center, which was the source of the pollen production and the locus of the chemical reaction. This was the target. With Spider Man barely able to function, Bulbasaur took the lead. He began a slow, arduous process of charging his ultimate power, Solar Beam. To fully charge such a massive attack required immense focus and time he didn't have as the Bloom continued to spew pollen. Dr. Bloom, seeing the Pokemon's defiance, turned his attention away from Spider Man. Insignificant weed, you dare to interrupt my triumph? Bloom deployed a swarm of small, autonomous botanical drones, mechanical insects designed to harvest the pollen and simultaneously attack Bulbasaur, trying to drain his energy and break his concentration. The drones were fast, but Bulbasaur, even while charging the solar beam, was not defenseless. He used his vine whips and the thorny edges of his bulb to swat away the drones, maintaining his steady concentration. He was fighting a multi-front battle, concentrating the massive power of the sun and life, maintaining the fragile bond with his amnesiac friend, and defending himself from Bloom's technological assault. As Bulbasaur reached near full charge, the amnesia took full effect on Spider-Man. He pulled on Bulbasaur's vine whip. "Science partner, wait for the bell. We need juice box," he mumbled, confusing his crime-fighting duties with grade school recess. The loss of memory was total, leaving the hero a confused, well-meaning man in a red and blue suit. But Bulbasaur held fast. He focused on the feelings, the shared struggle, the empathy, the clear, powerful memory of fight together moments before. He poured his own core memory of their partnership into the Vine Whip, sending a powerful, emotional jolt to Spider-Man. The jolt was a circuit breaker for the amnesia. Spider-Man's eyes cleared, his expression snapping back to focused determination for a fleeting moment. "Bulbasaur, the core, solar beam," he gasped, the identity of his friend and the mission surging back into his conscious mind, briefly overriding the pollen's effects. The fleeting moment of clarity was enough. Bulbasaur unleashed the solar beam, a massive, concentrated beam of pure, incandescent life energy. It shot toward the toxic blossom, hitting the deep purple node dead center. The bloom shrieked, its beautiful petals curling inward as the pure energy met the corrupted chemical core. The flower imploded, not in a toxic burst, but in a dazzling, cleansing explosion of harmless steam and soft, gentle light. The pollen cloud above Times Square immediately began to dissipate, the amnesiac effects instantly reversing as the source of the chemical chaos was neutralized. The confused civilians stopped wandering, blinking as their memories returned, look around in utter bewilderment. Dr. Bloom shrieked in defeat, his staff shattering as the final residual energy wave hit his suit. He was quickly webbed and secured by now fully lucid, slightly embarrassed Spider-Man. With the villain defeated and the flower neutralized, the light returned to Times Square. Spider-Man looked at Bulbasaur, who was exhausted but radiant, his bulb pulsing with the pure, soft light of victory. "Thanks, buddy," Spider-Man said, checking his now functioning web shooters. "I think you just reminded me of the most important rule: never forget your best friend." They had faced the chaos and defeated it not with force, but with unwavering trust and the unique resilience of a preserved memory. The greatest victory was not just saving the city, but saving the self. Their Pokemon story time was a testament to the fact that while power can make you strong, friendship makes you whole. Life lesson. The story teaches us that friendship and trust can light the way even when your memories fade. Identity and purpose are often rooted not just in personal recollection, but in the bonds we share with others. When you trust your deepest connections and allow yourself to be guided by those who know you best, you can overcome even the most profound confusion and find your way back to your true self.